Welcome back to For the Tech of It. Today, we're going to talk about free and low-cost alternatives to Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Welcome back. In the 1990s, there were multiple players in the Office suite space. There was Star Office, WordPerfect Office, Lotus Smart Suite, which I used, and of course, Microsoft Office, to name a few. Microsoft, due to the increasing dominance of Windows back then, soon became the leader in this space. Now, over the decades, more and more companies of all sizes began to adopt Microsoft Office as their standard set of Office suite tools for Windows. Now, it wasn't that these other products weren't as feature-rich as Microsoft Office. It really simply boiled down to the fact that Windows became the de facto standard across the world for desktop computing. So this gave Microsoft a huge benefit, Microsoft Office rather, a huge benefit that the other products simply didn't have. Now, even though Microsoft Office, is still the dominant Office suite today, especially in businesses, there are a number of new players and even a few of the older players out there who still offer Office suites at a lower cost than Microsoft Office, but they are every bit as powerful as Microsoft Office. So I believe it's time to seriously consider these alternatives. Many of us are starting new businesses now. We're trying to find ways to save money, yet we want our software to have the functionality that we need so we can get our work done. So today we're going to talk about and we're going to take a look at a few of these alternatives to Microsoft Office. So now let's talk a little bit about free versus free and open source software. And we're going to look at both today. So how do these differ? Free and open source software, also pronounced FOSS, is software whose underlying source code can be modified, reviewed, and even enhanced by pretty much anyone. It's free to use on as many devices as you want, so you can install it on any number of computers. You can also freely distribute it to friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, what have you. Now, the free and open source part doesn't mean that the software must be free of cost, but in most cases you'll find that's exactly what that means. The software is free of charge. There's no cost. Free software that's not open source is generally proprietary software, and the source code, you don't have rights to change it. Now, while it is free to use, it typically comes with some type of licensing restriction, and in some cases it also has limited functionality. And the reason why you'll find that in a lot of these products is because the software manufacturer really wants you to purchase their licensed edition if there's functionality that it provides which their free version does not provide. But if the free version provides you with all the functionality that you're happy with, you're free to use it forever, pretty much. Subscription and perpetual licensing comparison. As of the past few years, more and more companies have been adding what's called a subscription-based licensing model to their products. Now, the differences between the subscription model and a perpetual license, as you can see here in my table, the licensing terms on the perpetual side of the house is where you pay once for a particular version of software. So let's say you buy a copy of some version of some application, and it's version 1.0. You may pay full price for that version. Let's say it's $100. When version 2.0 comes out, you may qualify for an upgrade, so that essentially means that the vendor will give you a discount in order to purchase or upgrade to version 2.0. Now, what that equates to is a higher upfront cost, if you will. You'll pay for version 1.0, and you can continue using version 1.0 for as long as you want. Now, the subscription model differs because subscription is really based on a monthly or annual fee to use the software. You get automatic upgrades, so when a new version comes out, as long as you're paying a subscription fee every year or monthly, you qualify to upgrade to the new versions of the software. Now, in terms of cost, this equates to a lower upfront cost, but obviously a much higher long-term cost because you're continuing to pay for the software or using the software each month and each year. So it's something to think about. So today we'll be taking a quick look at 3 of these alternative Office suites. They are Libreoffice, which is free and open source, OnlyOffice, which is also free and open source, and we're also going to take a look at another one called FreeOffice. It is a free product, at least FreeOffice is, but SoftMaker, who's also the maker of FreeOffice, has a paid version. I guess you can call it a SoftMaker Office Professional. And that version is fully featured, where FreeOffice has some of the functionality that you'd find in SoftMaker Office doesn't exist in FreeOffice. So we'll take a look at all 3 of these. Okay, let's start by going to the websites here of each of these products. So we'll go to LibreOffice first. And LibreOffice's website is pretty well laid out. There's a lot of documentation that they provide. Not only a lot of documentation, but there are forums here. They have a Twitter page. They've got a Facebook site, Mastodon. They're all over social media. So downloading it is really simple. You can either click this download link here, or you can come to Downloads and go to download LibreOffice. There's also a version for Android and iOS. So if we go here, notice that there are 2 different versions of LibreOffice. Now this top one, this newer version, is one for folks who may be more interested in looking at some of the absolute newest features of the product. It's not that the product isn't stable. I haven't found stability problems with it, but I typically go with the slightly older version because as it says here, this version is slightly older, does not have the latest features, but it has been tested for longer. Now both of these versions have both Windows, Mac OS, as well as Linux installers. So depending on which operating system you're running, you'll just download that version. So that's LibreOffice. Here's OnlyOffice. Now OnlyOffice, as I stated earlier, like LibreOffice, is a free and open source application suite. In fact, if you come here and you go to OnlyOffice for desktop, this is where you go to download that free version. But notice there's a pricing menu option here as well. OnlyOffice also sells this product for enterprises. So if you have a company, you need a lot of licenses, or you have a lot of users, for example. Let's take a look at the Enterprise Edition. So if you've got a lot of users, you want to centralize this product on a single server or a cluster of servers and serve it up to your users that way. They offer support as well for this product. You have different pricing options here. And as you can see, Windows Server and Linux are supported. These are the different features that the application suite provides. Also, let me go back here. There's something called OnlyOffice Workspace and OnlyOffice Groups. Let's go to Workspace right quick. And I suggest if you want to learn more about it, definitely come to the website because I don't know all of these products by heart. I just know that OnlyOffice offers different ones for different types of use cases and different types of users. So here's what all is included with it. There's an email client, customer relationship management, project management, documents. I mean, you name it, and they've got it in here. OnlyOffice Groups, we'll take a quick glance at that. It is a free and open source online collaboration platform for you and your team. And I'm guessing these are some of the companies that are using this product. So I'll let you explore the OnlyOffice website at your convenience. Next up is FreeOffice. So this is the one we'll be seeing today as well. Again, this is not an open source product, but it is a free product. And it's made by a company called SoftMaker. Now, SoftMaker, as I stated earlier, has not only FreeOffice, but they also have a product called SoftMaker Office. So FreeOffice is essentially SoftMaker Office. The only difference is that FreeOffice doesn't have all the same functionality that SoftMaker Office does. And the reason for that, more than likely, is that SoftMaker wants you to purchase this professional edition, if you will, of their product. So let's see what they're charging for it here. We'll say shop. So there are different options here. SoftMaker Office, show products. So there's a subscription model, as you can see here, starting at $2.99 per month US. And there is a purchase option here, and that's starting at $49.95. And that's a perpetual license, one-time purchase. That's an excellent price, folks. You can also get volume licenses, so if you need hundreds or thousands of licenses for this product, you can purchase that here. Now, SoftMaker also provides a comparison chart. Let's go to that website right quick. Good. So it shows you if you want to compare the subscription model to FreeOffice or the purchase model to FreeOffice, it shows you all of the functionality that's available for each one of these versions. So this is a good way to really go in and check to see if or which one of these versions will better suit your needs based on the functionality that each one of them provides. There's quite a bit there. So I wanted to show you this. I'll include the links to these sites in the show notes that you can use to further review and study these products. All right, let's get on to taking a look at the different applications to see how they work. Now keep in mind, this isn't an in-depth review of these products. I merely want to give you an idea of the look and feel, and also talk to you a little bit about the Microsoft Office compatibility of each. Okay, I went into Microsoft Office and downloaded 3 of their templates. One is a simple resume template in Microsoft Word. That's this one here. Another one's a basic PowerPoint template, and another is an Excel template. And then I saved them. So the purpose of this is so that I want to illustrate to you how each one of the alternative products handles the formatting of Microsoft Office documents. So we'll start off with Word. I'm going to go in and say, let's open this up in Microsoft Word, because I want you to see what it looks like in original Microsoft Word format. So very basic resume template here. Has some little bar charts down here. Basic formatting, okay? We'll close this. I'm going to open the same document up now in Libreoffice Writer. Let's see how it handles it. Looks good. Same fonts. Formatting looks fine. So that's LibreOffice Writer. Close that. We'll go in and we'll go to OnlyOffice. And we'll wait a moment for OnlyOffice to open it. For whatever reason, it takes OnlyOffice a bit longer than the other two to open up these Office documents. But it will open eventually. Here we go. Be patient. Okay, so here's what that same resume template, I'll zoom in a bit, looks like in OnlyOffice. Formatting's there. And don't worry, I've already tried this. These grid lines, these guides for this table, when you print this, those don't appear on the printout. So we'll close that. Next we'll try FreeOffice. And here's the FreeOffice version of it. Looks good. So for this particular Word template, all four, of course Microsoft Word will look great as well, but all three of the competitors, of the alternatives, work just fine. It's just that for whatever reason, it takes OnlyOffice a bit longer to open up Office documents, and it'll be the same way with the PowerPoint presentation as well as Excel. For whatever reason, it just takes it longer. All right, we'll go to PowerPoint next. I'm going to show you what it looks like in Microsoft PowerPoint. Here it is, very basic. We'll try the same one now in Libreoffice. Looks good in Libreoffice, and you can edit it. Okay, next we will try OnlyOffice. Come on, OnlyOffice, let's get this thing open. Here we go. So here's OnlyOffice. And we did PowerPoint, now we're going to go to FreeOffice. And here's FreeOffice. So again, Word is fine, PowerPoint is fine. Now let's go to Excel. We'll open up the file in Microsoft Excel. Now something I want you to notice here in Excel. Notice the formatting of this table here, this section. Okay? Now this is Microsoft Excel, and this is an Excel template that I downloaded. Let's go to Plan Maker, which is from FreeOffice, and let's see how it does. Looks good. All the formatting's there. Has the same formula. Looks good. We'll go to OnlyOffice. We'll wait for OnlyOffice to open it. Again, it takes it a bit longer. Come on, OnlyOffice. You can do it. All right. So here's OnlyOffice. Looks good. Has the formulas there. Okay. Everything looks good. All right. And then finally, we'll go to Libreoffice Calc program. Look at what happens to the formatting in Libreoffice. Now, the formula is there, but the formatting of the table is not for this particular template. Now, of course, in any of these editors, of these alternatives, you can go ahead and change the formatting. You can make this look just like it does in Excel. But notice how these minor differences, and for some people, these minor differences matter. especially if you're interacting a lot with Microsoft Office users. Now, this isn't a knock against LibreOffice specifically, because what I've found in some of my experimentation over the past few months is that it really depends on how the document was formatted in Microsoft Office, because there are examples where LibreOffice opens it up perfectly, but only Office the formatting may be off, or even with free Office, the formatting may be off. So, your mileage may vary depending on the templates that you go with. So speaking of templates, there are two sites in particular that you want to take a look at. One is the Microsoft Office template site, and this is where I found these templates. And LibreOffice has a really good one as well. So while that's loading, I'll go to the Office templates. All right. So you can either search for a template, or they break it down into categories. So there's both free and paid templates here for Microsoft Office. So we're looking at the free ones. So we have some popular categories. This is a resume that I pulled down. Family activities, calendars, product brochures, planners, newsletters, presentations, special events and milestones. This is where you can go look for the premium templates. And of course, there are thousands of other ideas, it says here, you can choose from. So if we go, I don't know, let's pull down a calendar. So here's some really interesting looking calendar templates. Let's grab this one. I don't think it's a premium one. Nope, it's free. So we'll download this. I'll save it to my Documents folder. And I'll just call it Calendar. We'll save that. I'll minimize here. And if we look at it in Microsoft Word, here's what it looks like. Looks fine. That's what your images look like. Your calendar looks really good. Now, I haven't tried this in the alternatives yet, so this is the first time I'll be seeing this along with you all. Let's go to LibreOffice Writer. So, document contains macros. So you can enable macros in LibreOffice. So Tools, Option, LibreOffice Security. We may want to do that. Oh boy. So we'll say Tools, Options. Let's see, Security. Let's see here, Macro Security. We'll say Low. I'll say OK. And let's just reopen it. So as you can see, LibreOffice is struggling a bit with some of the formatting. Now, one thing I didn't look at in Microsoft Office is the fonts that were chosen. This is called Euphemia 9. Let's see, we want to make sure it's the same font in Word. We'll open it up here. Go here. Not sure why. Oh, I think I need to set it to edit it. Hang on a second. Let me go back into Word. Enable editing. There we go. So that security feature. We'll enable the content for the macro. There we go. Okay. Get past these prompts. Yep, Euphemia 9. So the formatting was a bit off in LibreOffice. We would probably need to make some adjustments here to the margin. Let's go back into LibreOffice right quick. I'll save that. Let's save it as a docx file. Let's see. Where did it put it? Not sure where it went. Let's open up Word again. I'm going to make sure this time I save it. We'll reopen that. I'm going to do a save as, save a copy to my Documents folder. We'll call it Calendar 2021 docx. Close out of that. And let's open that one up in LibreOffice and see if it makes a difference. No, it did not. So notice some of the formatting's off. It probably has to do with whatever the macro is doing behind the scenes. Now, LibreOffice does support macros. There's actually a VB type language behind the scenes where you can even create your own macros. But this is an example here where sometimes, depending on what's happening behind the scenes of these files, sometimes you may run into some slight, it could just be a formatting issue, or it could be an issue related to something that a macro is doing behind the scenes that LibreOffice doesn't, or your alternative application may not support. So just for grins, we're going to go take a look at the other applications here. And I'm going to go back to this document template, and we're going to go to TextMaker this time. So this is from FreeOffice. And let's see how it does. So it looks like TextMaker, right out of the box, is doing a pretty good job here. Interesting. So no complaints there. But notice for FreeOffice, sorry, for OnlyOffice, the option doesn't appear here. Let me go into OnlyOffice directly and see if it recognizes Microsoft Word document templates. I'm going to say open a local file. And we're going to try to open this in OnlyOffice. Let's see what happens. As usual, OnlyOffice is taking its sweet time. But hey, if it works, it works. We'll find out here shortly. Interesting. Very interesting. So OnlyOffice, I mean, it created an extra page break down here, but I think that's really a page margin type thing possibly. But at least the data, the numbers and everything are showing up correctly here. All right. Pretty good. Let's try here. So let's try that Word document that I created. We'll use OnlyOffice for that as well. Should be the same result. We'll see. All right, come on, OnlyOffice, you can do it. Eventually it will. All right, there are the images. So here's another example where both OnlyOffice and FreeOffice from SoftMaker do a slightly better job at formatting a Word template in this example. Interesting. Now if we go back to these template these two template websites. If we look in the LibreOffice Template website, they too have a series of templates that you can choose from, and they're categorized. So you have work and employment templates, like resumes, things of that nature, school and teacher templates, so certificates and whatnot, financial form templates, health and medical, fax cover sheets. And you say, why in the world would you have fax cover sheets? Well, believe it or not, many doctors' offices and, of course, legal firms, they still do a lot of faxing nowadays. Family tree templates. Take a look at some of these. Interesting. Personal legal templates, letterhead, planner templates. Let's go back to the family tree. Where was it? Here we go. We'll grab one of these. How about extended family tree? We'll download that one. And we should be getting prompt here, and I'll do a save as. We'll put that in the documents folder. Now notice the ODT format. This is that open text document format that LibreOffice and others support. So we'll save it as that. I'll minimize here. Here it is. Let's go take a look at it in Microsoft Word. Enable editing. Interesting. So let's see what this looks like actually in LibreOffice. So here's LibreOffice. You can go in and fill in the information. Looks really good, actually. We'll check out Only Office. Come on, Only Office. You can do it. Takes its sweet time, but if it works, it works. So Only Office kind of gets it, but mostly not. We'll go to Text Maker. Some minor formatting issues here too. So again, as you can see, I mean, even with the open document format, not all of the alternatives, or even Microsoft Office in this case, do a really good job with it. So if we go back again to the website, let's look at some of these Excel templates here right quick. We'll click on Excel. All right, and let's pull up, let's see if we can find a really interesting one here. Gas mileage tracker. Yeah, let's try this one. So we'll go to gas mileage tracker, specify download. We'll save it to my documents folder. Documents. And we'll call it gas mileage tracker. I'll minimize that. We'll take a look at it in Excel here. Right, quick. Okay, so this is what it should look like. It's got formulas here. We'll go to LibreOffice. Let's see what it does. Still has the formulas. Having some minor formatting issues here, but I think it's workable. Only Office. Again, keep in mind that you need to think about whether or not having that 100% Office compatibility is going to be very important to you. Because if it is, then maybe Microsoft Office is just going to be the way you have to go. But if that's not an issue for you, or it's a minor annoyance, then these other Office suites are perfectly capable of providing you with the features and functionality that you need. So here's Only Office. Looks good. Formatted correctly. I mean, I have to zoom in a bit, but works good. Free Office. Same thing. Now, where I think LibreOffice and Free Office do a bit of a better job is that if we go back and look at this in Only Office, notice the filtering is not there for the dates. Let's get that opened up again. Okay, we're going to open that up. All right. So notice it's not here. You don't have the filtering. I'm not exactly sure. Where is it here? Maybe we can find filtering in Only Office. I know that you can apply a filter here somehow. Ah, there it is. Filter. There it is. Okay. So I had to go in just to apply the filtering because it wasn't automatically applied, but Only Office is doing it. So it looks good. The only little hiccup I saw out of all of them was that on the LibreOffice side, let's reopen it, was just the formatting is off here. That's it. Really, that's the only thing I saw. The formatting is off. Easily fixed. There we are. Easily fixed. So, what have we learned here today? Let's sit back and have that discussion for a moment. I'll shut down all of this so we can talk a little more. So today, you got to find out that there are some really good alternatives to Microsoft Office out there. There are several others that I didn't even talk about. So for example, I'm sure that there are some of you who remember WordPerfect. Well, WordPerfect still exists today. In fact, it still has its own Office suite, and you can find it on the Corel website. So I'll include the link to that in the show notes as well for you. Now, depending on which version of WordPerfect you go with, it includes the Paradox database, presentation program, the Quattro Pro spreadsheet, for those of you who remember Quattro Pro. I think it has a PDF editor and a few other things. So I'll include the link to the WordPerfect Office suite for you. Now, with respect to SoftMaker's free Office, even though it is free to use, and I encourage you to check it out to see if the features that it has will suffice for what your needs are, just keep in mind that it's feature limited because SoftMaker wants you to purchase their professional edition. They also have a link on their website, and I didn't show you this earlier, that has special pricing for schools and for educators. And I think WordPerfect has something similar on their site too. So if you're looking to get an office suite for your school, then SoftMaker Office offers a free educational license for their professional edition. This isn't free Office, this is for the full-blown version. And you can install it on all the computers in your school. Now, in addition to that, if you're an educator, you're a teacher or what have you, then you can also get a free copy of their professional edition, free of charge, and you can use it on your own personal computer. I'll include the link to that in the show notes as well. You may want to check that out. Now, I recorded this episode to provide you with the knowledge that there are indeed other Office suites out there that are very feature-rich. They're every bit as powerful as Microsoft Office, and at a lower cost of ownership when you compare it to Office. Now, if there's anything that you saw today in the Office suites that I've shown you that has really piqued your curiosity, then definitely download and install the software and poke around with it a bit. Think about the tasks that you perform currently while using Microsoft Office, and then try to do or perform those same tasks with any of these Office suite alternatives. Now, my hope is that you come to find that the alternative software is every bit as good at performing those tasks as Microsoft Office, plus you'll get to save some money to boot. Now, if you'd like to see a more in-depth review of any of these applications, then let me know. For example, let's say you want to see how well each of them handle features like mail merge and envelope creation. Let me know and I'll be happy to take a deeper dive into those for you. So I want to thank you for joining me here today. I'll post links, as I said earlier, for this episode in the show notes. And please click on that subscribe button because I'm planning to do even more videos. Give this episode a thumbs up if you like what you've seen. Thank you again, and peace.